Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. It is Steve Arterburn here. Really glad that you're with me and that I'm with Dr. Sheri, Keffer, and Chris Williams. Hi, guys.
Hey, good to be here.
It's great to be with you guys.
And right up front, I'll just remind everybody that Sheri has a wonderful book, Intimate Deception. And if you have been on the receiving end of deception, sexual integrity, betrayal, boy, this can be a great, great book. Last time I saw...
Let me interrupt really quickly, because now we can officially say award-winning author, Dr. Sheri Keffer.
Did you win an award?
I did. I got the outstanding publication with organization. It's called ITAP, International Institute of Trauma and Addiction Professionals. It's Patrick Carnes' group, and I got an award this weekend for my book.
Hey, listen, that's not just something on the back of cereal boxes either. That's a big deal. So, wonderful. Well, congratulations to that,
you.
the award winning. Do I need to introduce you? I'll introduce you that way from now on, the award winning. But also just award winning in character and being a nice guy and very effective professional. Chris was with me at Finding Freedom and our other therapist there, Chris, and it was an amazing weekend, wasn't it?
It really was, and what's really remarkable about it is that people come in with a lot of different issues. There's a lot of diversity of issues, but the commonality is people come in really stuck in the same thing that trips them up over and over and over in life.
Right.
And they're just given a clear pathway into getting free, getting unstuck and getting free. Steve, what you've presented in the sessions is valuable information that really they don't get anywhere else. And then they're able to work it out in the groups with other people, and it gives it such a powerful, powerful momentum and movement for people to move forward into their free life and creative solutions.
Well, you know, the thing is, do something other than what you've been doing. If you're stuck with some kind of obsession of the mind or some compulsive behavior or just, you know, anything that you've really tried to move out of, do something. And, of course, we'll do Finding Freedom again, and it's just one great something to do. So many great, wonderful results there. You can find out about it at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Right now, I'm going to go to Candy, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Listens on Sirius XM. Hey, Candy, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, glad you called. And anybody else can call us at 1-800-229-3000. How can we help today?
Well, I need some direction. I've been married 23 years. My husband struggles with a nicotine addiction. It's pretty psychologically, emotionally driven. Problem is he hides and lies about it. Never, ever has he ever once come out with it. I always find it or bust him, you know. Yeah. Through all this, I've determined recently that I've been the classic codependent. I've covered, rescued, tried to fix, which I think has made it pretty easy for him to just continue, honestly. Yeah. But in the past year, and we've been in and out of counseling, but the past year he's really been trying to, more than anything, be honest. And he's made strides. But, you know, just recently he had quit for about 40 days. And I tried to be supportive. I'm really trying to work on myself and not be controlling and, you know, give him the space because it's been so long and this has been such a long, hard battle with a lot of betrayal. But 40 days was this Tuesday, and he emailed me from work and said, this is hard for me to tell you, but I'm going to start again on Tuesday. And I have to find out what the psychological root is behind this. So I guess my question is, I have no clue really how to set boundaries. I don't know what I should do from here.
Hold on. We're going to help you right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back and we're talking with Candy about her husband's problem with nicotine, and he's told her, he just says, I'm going to start again on this date, which is kind of a intentional or volitional relapse there. So my first question, Candy, is he involved in any kind of smoking cessation program, or has he ever been involved?
He has not recently. He just did take some steps. He tried Celebrate Recovery, but it was mostly women, so that didn't work. We found a Nicotine Anonymous about an hour away, and last week he hasn't told me, but he was there. I don't know if he went to the group. He's very isolated. Mm-hmm. He is not comfortable talking and opening up. He's non-confrontational. So I know that's a huge challenge for him. So no, not currently. He's not now.
Well, let me just say this, and then I want to hear from Sheri and then Chris. But I would encourage you to let that be kind of a minimal level of acceptability. The I don't know, the American Lung Association or Cancer Society, there are a lot of different organizations, but they have programs. I literally was over a program called Smoke Enders, and the success rate was so high because there was connection with other people. Mm-hmm. And that was long before you had patches and different things like that. And so, I don't know, I would encourage you to encourage him to get involved in something. And I'll tell you, I was a smoker. I worked in a clothing store and everybody smoked, and I picked up that horrible habit. And I literally had to commit a package of cigarettes again. Not just, I'm not going to smoke. I will never touch a package of cigarettes. And some guy left one in my car one time, and I went and got ice tongs to take it out of the car to live up to that. And then I said I would never have one of those at my lips, because people need a lot of boundaries and barriers between that and the smoking. But here's the thing, he knows you don't like it, and he's going to do it anyway, so he really needs some support. Sheri, when you're hearing this and a guy just saying to his wife, here's what's going to happen, like it or not, what are you thinking there?
Well, I'm thinking he's improving in one area. He's starting to be honest, and it took a lot of courage for him to bring that to you. But let me ask you a question. You know what I wonder is, if you were to float back in your life and tell me a little bit about growing up, were there secrets? Was there a secret in your home that maybe you knew about that nobody else knew about, that really hurt you or hurt your family?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, my parents are great. My dad was he was controlling. There wasn't a lot of affection, and I just personally really needed that. So that's been kind of an issue. And but other than that, I mean, the big hidden thing that my parents, I know to this day, feel guilty about was that my mom got pregnant before they were married, and everything worked out. They're married. There's 4 kids. It's not, no one.
Was it with you, or was it with are you firstborn?
No, it was my oldest sibling. Yeah, it wasn't me.
Well, I don't know if it's the secret or the control, and it may be even more the control. When you grow up with a controlling parent, how much control did you feel right? When somebody is really controlling, it kind of, he rules the roost. And that can play into you feeling powerless.
Right.
Because if you lose your agency, if you lose your ability to make choices, if you lose your ability to be heard or recognized for the thing that's hurting you, can you feel that?
Absolutely. I was anorexic as a teen. I mean, I absolutely recognize that that's been a huge challenge for me.
Okay.
I guess I was blinded. Like, I didn't realize I was being controlling. I thought I was being helpful.
I know. And guess what,
but
girl?
It really smacked me in the face recently.
Well, and I know. And that's the thing, is you lost control. Even in your eating disorder, it was a way that you were trying to get control. So what happens with codependency with you is you're still, even, and I hear you today when you say, I need to find out the psychological root behind this. I go, honey, you are still in that place of trying to fix, control, or rescue. And you're doing that because he's not hearing you. He's making choices that are different to you. What's the worst thing that could happen if he starts becoming more honest but continues to use nicotine? What's the worst thing that could happen to you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's so hard for me because 2 weeks into meeting him when we were in college, I told him I don't want to marry a smoker. I don't want that. And he thought he could quit. He honestly did. But
was he smoking when was he smoking when you met him? Okay. So this is a thing. And you know what? I did the same thing you did, except I married someone who struggled with porn. And I knew he used. I knew one piece of information, but I chose to say yes. I chose to risk and say yes because I thought he would stop. And so what happened is you also said yes. But now you're trying to control the thing that you said yes to because you believed that he would stop.
Yes.
And so recovery comes in you learning how to let go as he begins to take more ownership over whether he's going to stop the nicotine or not.
Okay.
Chris, your thoughts? Yeah.
I am terrified that he's going to die.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That's when I asked the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, because fear is running your guys' relationship. He is terrified. And guess what nicotine is? A very, very powerful anti-anxiety drug.
Right.
Right? Okay, so going back to what Sheri was saying, I think this is really important. First step of addiction, if he is powerless against nicotine, how much more powerless are you?
Right.
Right? And just in your home, on the other side of control is fear. And so control is a way that we avoid the fear. But the only way to get through it is to go through it, is to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. So what does she need to do? What's the next step for her?
Well, I think you getting into a CODA group is and starting to go regularly, not just going to kick a tire, but really beginning to look at what it is, whether it's CODA or Al-Anon, either one of those. Maybe Al-Anon might even be more helpful because there's a substance involved, right? And so you're trying to figure out how to have some detachment from the substance. The more you control him, the less he's going to do his own work. And he might even push back because he's trying to have some say-so in the issue. And then the other thing I would have you do is stay on the line. We've got therapists all over the country, and we want to get you hooked into one. But I would have you go in and face your fear of him dying because that fear is driving you. And I want you to get comfortable in your therapy with the idea that if that happened, what would happen to you? Would you be okay?
Yeah. Okay, so you know how New Age teachers, they repeat something and it sounds so profound, like they'll say, the beauty of rest is in the rest of beauty or something like that. Well, okay, so here's one, and that is that trying harder just makes trying harder. I mean, it gets harder the more you try. What we want is surrender, or I think what God wants from us is surrender, to do whatever it takes. And that trying to fix it on my own versus surrendering to and joining other people in a fellowship of support and encouragement and truth, that's where we want you to be, and that's where we want him to be. The dance of you control him, and then he finally can't handle it anymore, and he breaks away, and it's never his choice, and all of that stuff needs to be dealt with. And I think you can take the lead here in getting into that support group and getting into a therapist. I mean, we've been on with you 10 minutes, and there's some things that just kind of fall in place in that 10 minutes. I can only imagine what would happen if you had 10 sessions with somebody. So I want to encourage you to move forward with surrendering all the stuff that's been there and try to get out of that dance that's taking you nowhere.
And you know
All
what,
right.
Steve, you're really right,
Yeah.
because you think about it, trying harder to keep him alive is actually killing the relationship.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
making them further apart from each other. So you couldn't be even more true, Steve.
So all the stress of the relationship on top of the nicotine addiction just compounds the matter. So
Yeah.
we're doing all the stuff we know to do, producing exactly the opposite impact on another person's life. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help with anything like that. I mean, if she had been at Finding Freedom, I think some lights would have come on for her. And we'll have another one coming up pretty soon. We'd love for you all to be there at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want to join us on this program, 1-800-229-3000. Let's talk to John, Medford, New Jersey. Hello, John. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm well. Just calling for some advice here. I have been married for over 20 years, and during those 20 years of marriage, there has been some issues in the marriage. Went back to 1999 and 2013. Some counseling and everything else, and
Tell us what's happening today, my friend. What's going on today? That's what we want to talk to you about.
What today is, I'm facing a divorce that I really don't want to, because she said she's done. She doesn't want to do anything anymore because she wants to find herself, and she needs her space and her time to do that.
Okay. So if we were talking to her, what would she say? Here's my biggest problem that he's never been willing to do anything about. How would she answer that?
I don't know that for a fact because, from my standpoint, is that she personally told me that I said all the right thing, have done all the right thing, and she's just not into it. She just has to find herself.
Okay. So what's the question for us? We would love to help you with this.
The question is, I'm pretty much, broken over this because I never wanted to have a divorce, and I understand that I can't keep her in this marriage because she doesn't want to stay in the marriage. She doesn't want any. We're doing counseling, and all of a sudden she just stopped and she said she doesn't want to do it anymore and she wants a divorce.
Okay. So the question for us would be what?
What do you think I should do, and what do I do from here?
Okay. Chris, you want to get us started on this?
Yeah, John, first off, I'm really, really sorry you're going through this situation. And you know, the advice of going to marriage counseling you've done, the one really, really painful thing is that we can't control other people's painful decisions that cause us harm. And so I'm going to first tell you what not to do. I don't want you to double down on control of her and her decision. I don't want you to give up, but I also want you to be able to get into your own help and healing process. Because as she goes down this pathway, we're talking about a very, very significant, the most significant relationship in your life over the most significant time period of your life. And losing that is tremendously painful. Grief and loss in the wake of divorce is really, really profound. And so there are a lot of different ways that we can medicate that and avoid that. And I don't want you to go down that road because it just leads to a delayed healing process and actually potentially more destruction. And so I want you to get into some grief counseling for you. And then also just really asking, what am I learning about me and how do I grow as a relational person in the world through this process?
Okay.
Sheri, you have a thought here?
Well, I have a big thought. And you know what it is, John? I'm looking at the screen, and you didn't mention your wife's affairs. And I think that's interesting that you didn't mention your wife's affairs, because that's kind of a big piece of your story. And maybe, just maybe, there's a part of you that has been missing how big that's been in your relationship. And because of it, you've been really hurt again.
Well, we better talk about that right after this.
On Friday night, we got into an argument, and I stayed in the car outside for 2 hours. I knew what the right thing to do was to go.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. June 28th to the 30th.
You know, I know this stuff, but it's so hard to do. I hear it, I read it, and I'm always getting in my own way. I'm always expecting my wife to go first.
Join Steve Arterburn.
We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group leaders will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
My biggest takeaway was to just get out of my way and go first.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back talking to John here, and miserable wife getting a divorce, and Sheri's pointed out there have been affairs. Go ahead, Sheri.
So has there been a number of affairs, John, or what's that?
It's a number of them. It has been a number of them.
Okay. So she's been serially cheating on you. And, I'm not even surprised, John, that it was something that was hard to bring, once you're on the radio live, because there's so much shame that gets attached to us when the one we love has been betraying us, has been with other people, and in this case, many people. And so what has kept you so long in a marriage with a woman who's had multiple affairs? What about you is fighting for her now?
So I'm looking at my family, and I just, wanted to keep this family together and hoping that, with God helps, that something will change eventually. I mean, people, do believe make mistakes, and I have been forgiven for my sins, and I feel that, I'm lending the same thing, but it's now that I can look back and see, well, maybe all these different affairs and infidelities that just, was telling me, well, I really don't want to be in this marriage, but it still hurt, and I still don't really know how to move forward in this.
So let me tell you why I think you're still struggling. I honestly think you're in denial. You're minimizing what happened to you. You're minimizing I don't think you're doing it on purpose, but I want to wake you up to that. When you say that, people make mistakes and there's sin, I mean, this is betrayal. This is the kind of stuff that God says somebody has a right to not stay married to. Of course, we want to work on it. But because you've been somewhat asleep to the pain of it, I don't know that you've been able to fight for your marriage as you've needed to. So I think we may have lost him, and I hope it wasn't because we were talking. But, I care for John, and I care for so many of us that have gone through betrayals.
Right.
And when we don't look at it seriously, when we don't address the issues, when we don't put a stop to it, when we don't put boundaries down, when we just hope that our family, if we just stay long enough and ride this horrible wave, the tsunami over and over again, that maybe our family will stick together. It's that part of Proverbs 10:10 that winking at sin, it only leads to more folly and heartache. And that's where he's sitting today.
Yeah.
And so please don't not get help is what I guess I'm saying to all of us.
Well, and no one who has been hurt like this wants to, look at, well, maybe I've enabled this, and you do have shame. And I like to point out to folks, you might have contributed to a crummy marriage, because a lot of people do that. But you didn't decide for her to be unfaithful and break the vows. And so some of that shame gets put on us by other people. They might say, well, what's your contribution? Well, you might have had some contribution there, just like a lot of people contribute to a lot of problems. But look, that was her. That's on her, that affair thing. That's not on you. There are a lot of other options she could have taken for whatever she did and whyever she did it. So I just want you to be free of that kind of shame. And a lot of times when we get free of the shame, we can go to work on what we can do. Now, I'm hoping that you're going to connect with us again, because I want you to get this book, Intimate Deception. I'll give it to you. And anybody else wanting it, you can get it by simply calling us 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ordering it there. It's just fantastic. And as Chris pointed out, this thing won an award. It's an amazing gift to people who wonder, does anybody understand what I've been through, and can anybody help me know what to do next? This is the book for you. All right, let's go to, how about we talk with Tom, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Tom. How are you today?
Hey, Steve, I'm good. Let me get you off. Okay, there we go. Let me get you off.
It's always a good idea. Thank you, sir. What's going on?
So the question I have for you is online dating what God wants for his people?
Why do you ask that?
So I'm 43. I'm visually impaired. And I belong to a great church, and I've been at this same church my entire life. And it's just that dating any woman in that church is just not what God wants, and I'm fine with that.
Oh, so are you asking if it'd be okay if you started to look at online dating?
More from a safety perspective. I've heard so many horror stories throughout the latter years.
Yeah. If you're not smart, you can get in big trouble dating somebody.
Oh, I know that.
That you've known for 20 years. But let me answer your question. I don't think God wants us to do online dating. But I don't think God has a problem with us using technology and things like that to meet people that we would have never met before, because, quite frankly, once you get out of high school and college, you're limited. And so what online dating has done, it's gotten a lot of great people together. Now, what you do once you're together, and how safe you are and how well you manage all that's a different issue, and you want to be smart. But the online meeting part, that's not the problem. The problem comes after you meet. We'll be back.
My wife had found me out through my past and my sexual addiction since I was a small child. It really gave me the opportunity to start digging into my past, start digging into my childhood, figure out what was causing me to feel the way I was feeling. Every Man's Battle will really give you that opportunity because all the guys there in that room are there for the exact same reason you're there. I don't want to be the reason that my kids are going to counseling. I don't want to be the reason that they begin to struggle with the same issues that I'm struggling with, and I've got to put an end to this. Yes, you can be different. God does love you. You can be forgiven for this, and there's a way out of this. But you have to acknowledge that you have to change, and that there's a problem.
If you're struggling, call us. There are people on the other end of the line who want to hear from you, who want to help you. We don't want you to hand down something to another generation that just looks like pain and destruction. You can hand down redemption, but you got to take that first step. Just give us a call. It's 1-800-639-5433. It's 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We are talking with Tom. He's asked some questions about online dating there, and Tom, I'm just wondering, how long have you been thinking that your church there is limited, and what have you been doing in the meantime? Are you just not doing anything, or what's life been like in this world of dating that you've been in?
It's not necessarily been limited, but it's just that I've been there so long that I have friends that are both male and female, and the friends that I have that are female, God wants it that way, and I'm fine with that.
Uh-huh. Well, Tom, do you have some buddies, by any chance? Because, one of the biggest problems in the dating world isn't with dates. It's we don't have any guys to hang out with and kind of take care of the loneliness thing. And when you start working on developing really great friendships with other guys, and you're not lonely anymore, the whole dating world really goes so much better, whether it's in your church or that you meet somebody online. So, that might be something for you to look at, because, man, if you don't have those guys, you can do some dumb things on dates and getting dates and all of that. Chris, what are you thinking here, my friend?
Well, I'm thinking a couple things, but Tom, the first thing I'm thinking about is that there's a lot of loneliness in the little bit that we have here. And I can't imagine how hard that is and difficult. And because you have really strong people in your community, those are the people I want you to be able to speak into your life. I want you to build intimacy with the friends, that you've been journeying with for, a really long time. And it's there that we learn ourselves. Because the question is, what do you want? It's interesting that you ask, does God really want online dating? And then you say, he doesn't want me to date these other people. I'm like, man, if you're that keyed into what God desires,
good point,
you should be able to answer this question, because it's not really about online dating or not online dating. It's really about the fear and loneliness that you're carrying into the world on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want you to carry that fear and that loneliness. I know this, God doesn't want you to carry that fear and that loneliness into your daily life.
That's right.
The only way to work through that is to get into relationships where you can talk about the things that you're afraid of, the things that you desire, and the losses or heartache that you're carrying in the world today. Do you have that in your life?
Do I have, I'm sorry, run that by me again?
Yes. Do you have people you can talk about what is going on inside of you to people in your life?
Yeah, I do.
And what do they say?
They would say I'm being too hard on myself, which is probably true.
That is probably true. And I think that there's some things that you're holding against yourself, Tom. And I actually, one of the books that keeps rattling around in my brain as I'm talking to you is a book called Safe People. Is that, and that's just, this great illustration of how we become safe people and how we connect to safe people. But really, you're looking for a solution for your heartache and your fear. And you're going to find that, but that's in relationship. And I'd prefer that start in non-romantic relationship.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Well, and here's one other thing. Dating is difficult. And I tell you, I think it just brings out the worst in us many times. And sometimes you have to go back, do a little bit of research. And you have to ask somebody that you had a date or two with, and humble yourself and say, you know what, I do not want to be lonely the rest of my life. And I really like being with you. And I'm just wondering if you could let me know what's kind of difficult about me to be around. What's some areas I could work on that would make me more enjoyable to be with in this dating world. And, guys that have done that, they find out deep insight, like when after you eat you suck your teeth or something like that. I don't like that. Anyway, no, it's better than that. They will tell them, hey, look here, you seem so desperate, or you seem so anxious, or you didn't have life in you, and there wasn't anything in common. Whatever it is, but maybe that's the best thing that you can do is find out what is it that I could work on in this world of dating. Now, I'm going to send you this book, Is This the One? And that's going to help you with some things, I think. And I hope that you'll let us know how things go. But, boy, I'll tell you, it's worth it, to kind of humble yourself and say to somebody, tell me what I could do to be more enjoyable when I'm with somebody like you. It could just open some doors that you didn't know could be open because you got some new insight. Allowing people to tell you the truth about yourself, that's a rare thing. Here's a guy that tells me the truth about myself all the time, and I regret it, but I try to accept it. Larry Sonnenberg, how you doing, Larry?
Doing good, Steve. Thanks.
Well, I'm glad you're with us here today. Talk to us about New Life.
Well, I want to ask folks to sign up for Club New Life, and I want to help them understand why. And I want to read at Every Man's Battle workshops, we ask guys to give us their closing thoughts before they leave. And here's a short one that a guy wrote, but it's really powerful. I'm grateful for the sensitive and non-judgmental application of the principles of forgiveness and redemption as I understand the way Christ offers them. I've seen too many examples of the sad observation that Christian soldiers are the only ones who shoot their wounded. First aid was offered here, and a plan for treatment that can lead to complete healing. So two things come to mind real quickly. If you're a guy thinking about coming to Every Man's Battle, fear is usually the thing that keeps you away. Nothing to be fearful of. No shame zone and a friendly environment. If you're thinking about giving to New Life, this is what New Life does. We reach people where they're hurting, and we help them. We let them see God's a God of second chances. And we've got a lot of ways you can give. Single gifts, scholarship fund, estate planning. There's all kinds of giving stock. But I really want to encourage you today to please consider signing up for Club New Life. Monthly giving, $30 or more a month, And it makes all the difference in the world to New Life. We need to build our solid base of monthly support to be able to continue to reach more and more people and to help people find hope when they're hurting and healing.
So, yeah, call us, please, if you can, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That is the number to call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and become part of this New Life giving family.
And just ask them about the thank you gift. You'll be really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Larry. Let's talk to Wanda, Birmingham, Alabama. She's calling us, and she's a new listener. Hi there. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
I have a question. My spouse has, he's an alcoholic, and he now has picked up the habit of gambling. Other than praying, what else can I do to... I've already confronted him. We've had a conversation, not an argument, just a conversation. And he seems to think that he can handle the gambling. And I think he's kind of in a little bit denial, but I'm not sure. And it's affecting me emotionally and mentally. So other than praying, what else can I do?
Well, first of all, maybe you could help us a little bit. How did you... What is your faith background where you might come to believe that for a very long time, prayer would be the only thing that you could do?
I know that prayer is not the only thing I can do. I felt like for the longest of time, I never confronted him about it. We never even talked about it. I just accepted it.
Yeah, right.
So once I seen it becoming more of a problem, that's when I had a conversation with him and told him that he needed to get help because it was an addiction.
And is he a believer?
That's when he was raised up as a believer, but not as of today. I really don't think he is. I don't think he's a believer. I really don't.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, when it comes to gambling, it is, when you get into it, especially if you've got a nice, wonderful, believing wife, there's only one way to get out of it, and that's to stop it. Well, if you have an alcohol problem, your ability to control an impulse is about 0. So one fuels the other. They're different problems, but they have the same solution. It's a spiritual solution. It's a program. And that's what he's going to have to get into.
Yes,
like Gamblers Anonymous.
But he has to come to that decision on his own.
No, he might need a little help. You can't, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink. You can make him thirsty. That's what we're talking.
Last year, after Every Man's Battle, I was so moved by the transformation that I saw, not only in myself, but in the guys in our small group and the other people that were there and the stories that I heard, that I decided to go ahead and join Club New Life as a contributor to that.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
You guys are doing God's work here. You're restoring marriages. You're giving people hope. It's just been such a blessing to me, and I just wanted to encourage you all. When you see something good that God's doing, just jump on that and help support that.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Give your support to them if you can, and just help them do what God's doing here in the world.
Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. June 28th to the 30th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We're talking with Wanda. Before we go back to her, I just got a call from a pastor, and he's working on his Father's Day message. And he said, hey, I'd like to give away 100 of the Preparing Your Son for Every Young Man's Battle. Now, I just think that's so fantastic, of course, because you have to start at 8, 9, and 10 if you're going to, win this thing. And it just brings up the fact that Father's Day is coming, and you need to get your integrity act together. And we've got a great, great experience for you. It's June the 7th in Cincinnati, July 12th in Washington, D.C. But it literally could change everything for you if you would come. So call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE, and just do it for yourself, for God, and for your family and those boys that are coming up that need a godly father. All right, so Wanda's husband's got a little drinking problem. He's gambling. She's been praying. She's ready to do something else. Chris, what do you think she ought to do?
Well, Wanda, the first thing, great job calling in. Great awareness that you're being affected emotionally, mentally, but you're also being affected financially. You're being affected spiritually. This is a big, big deal. And Sheri was talking to an earlier caller that for us to face things that we don't have any control over that are painful, we naturally adopt this thing called denial because it kind of helps us show up and move on, and then you've been avoiding it. But now you're saying, no, I can't do this anymore. The pain point is getting too strong, and you're asking the right question. What do I do? Well, you get into a 12-step group. You get into Al-Anon. One, so that you know you're not alone. There's other people out here struggling with this, and they have a solution. And the other thing that I want to encourage you with is the establishment of boundaries. It's not okay that he's spending money on gambling. Again, that puts your livelihood at threat. And obviously, it's not okay that he's drinking because it's going to impair his decision making. Your husband is spinning out of control, and it's only going to get worse unless he gets help. The first thing I want you to do is get into reality here. You're in a dangerous situation, and demanding that he get help with hard consequences or hard boundaries is not only the best thing that you can do for yourself, it's the best thing that you can do for him. It helps him wake up.
Sheri, you have a comment here?
Yeah, Wanda, I think my comment is just wondering where you got your fear to confront. It's as if you're afraid of owning your voice. Either he'll get mad, he'll reject you, and it might even come from growing up in a home where you weren't allowed to really have an opinion. What you said didn't matter, or nobody really listened to you. And so that is playing out in your marriage now, and I think it's keeping you in a state that is disempowering you rather than having you be able to be bold to set boundaries, bold to confront. And so that's what I would have you kind of look at. I did some shows recently on the New Life. We've got New Life listeners that get to hear some videos, and I did a whole series on how to do an intentional ask. And I'm not sure if it's queued up right yet, but I would have you listen to that.
Yeah, that's good.
That'd be good. All right. I want to be sure that, well, let me say this. I was thinking when you were talking, Chris, you mentioned denial. Well, people say there's no I in the word team. There is I in denial, and it's a great reminder. We do the thing that makes us most comfortable in the short term, even though it may destroy everything we value in the long term. So we want to get out of denial. Going to see a counselor, getting into a codependency group, all of those things are fantastic about getting from where you are today and where you need to be. And I'm gonna send her a copy of Take Your Life Back, and I think that's really going to help her with her side of the street. Don't have a lot of time for Dennis, but I want to talk with him. And if you want to join us for the next program, hold on or call us 1-800-229-3000. Dennis, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'll be very brief. I just had a comment about the lady who had a problem with her husband on nicotine. I have a testimony, and I know that not to denigrate your great work, but I went to the great physician, our Lord Jesus Christ. I smoked for 31 years, 3 to 4 packs a day, and I asked him to take away the desire and surrendered it to him. And I haven't smoked or used tobacco in any form for over 25 years, marking last February. And good Lord took it away from me. Praise His name.
Why do you think that would denigrate anything that we're doing here?
I don't really think it does, but I know some people could use your help, and I don't want to detract from that.
Yeah.
But God did it for me, and I am so grateful. And I just, like I said, I definitely had the habit. I definitely had the addiction, and I just quit. I had 18 packs of cigarettes at that moment. I smoked all those, quit, never had the desire, never had withdrawals. God did a miracle in my life.
What a great testimony. We're excited.
Love that. And the thing is, we wish that God dealt with every person that way. And because He doesn't, we're just going to keep on doing this. But what we think is that when somebody does get over an addiction, it is that God is at the foundation and source of that. It just may not be instant and quick as it was in your case. And of course, God never delivers us from something into instant character. That's where we take that gift of deliverance and we go to work and we say, since I don't have that urge, now I can really do some major work on me and my character without being distracted and as much as if I was craving something. So more power to you. I'm going to send you a copy of Every Man's Bible. It is one great Bible to help you stay in the Word. I hope you'll enjoy that. That's our gift to you. Well, we're just about out of time, and I want to thank everybody that supports us. Really means all the world to us and to some people that have been helped by you. And if you want to become part of the New Life Giving family, $30 a month for Club New Life will send you a library of 8 books, the best of the best from New Life, including Sheri Keffer's book, Intimate Deception. We've got Boundaries in there. Healing is a Choice is another one. Forgiving What You'll Never Forget. Every Man's Battle. Secrets Women Keep. And How We Love. It's just an amazing, amazing library of books that'll change your life. $30 a month. That's Club New Life. For a gift of any amount, we'll send you this amazing, it's a New Life thermal insulated tote bag. Royal blue, great for summer. You can take it to the pool, take it to the market. Zippered top. It's got great insulation inside. I think you'll really like this. For whatever you're going to do, it's our way of saying thank you for being part of the New Life Giving family. If you need help, we're there for you. It's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Same number. If you can help us, we'd love that. And then if you want to join us on this next program, 1-800-229-3000. Thank you, Dr. Sheri Keffer. Thank you, Chris Williams. Thanks to all of you. Have a great day today. It's going to be a good one if you'll trust God and make it that way. See you next time, right here on New Life.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.